All right, welcome everybody. We're another round of the podcast. Everybody's here today.
We got everybody
Another
in the house.
round.
Greg's back with his arm in a sling.
Yeah, I thought about not wearing the
You
sling
should
for
see
this.
the other guy.
Yeah,
That other guy, I'm telling y'all, don't mess with Greg after he's preached.
that's right.
I mean, he'll come back with one arm, but
Yeah.
no telling
I
what's
mean,
going to happen
you
to
know,
you.
Yeah.
Don't even need this arm.
He don't even need that
That's
arm.
right.
That's a threat. He's kind of being threatening
They used to
today.
do that in old wrestling matches.
That's right.
And shit,
Tied
yeah.
one arm behind my
Yeah.
back and
Did
went
they
to town.
really? I don't
No,
remember
no.
that.
I've seen some old clips
I
of
mean-
that happening
Okay.
from wrestling in your era.
Ooh.
I was not in my era that I know about. I'm from the Ric Flair era.
We'll
He
pull
never
up some
tied his
clips.
hands behind his back that I know of.
They would handcuff people to the ropes at that point in time, and Ric Flair would go to town
Yeah.
in his,
Really?
in his alligator skin boots.
I don't even remember that. How'd we get off into wrestling
Don't
already
know.
today?
Don't know.
It's a good weekend at Upward. Man, we had a good time. We
Yeah.
really did. Flat Rock and West here. Our first weekend back at 3 services here at Flat Rock.
Man,
And
you
then
remember the days when we were at 2 services? Man.
They're hard to remember. They kind of went by so fast. If you don't know, we only went back to 2 services here at Flat Rock for 2 weeks. We thought we could make it till Christmas. Well, at first we thought we're going to make it to the end of 2025 and we'll go back to 3 in 2026.
Yep.
We'll start the new year. And then we looked at it and said, maybe we'll make it to Christmas. And then we tried it and we said, this ain't working. So, you know, the funny thing about that is that West is going very well. There's nothing has failed about West at all. It's going well. They're having
Extremely well.
new
Yeah.
families all the time. I think they had a record number of children this week.
Yep.
Luke was telling me. So West is doing really well. But honestly, if you're here at Flat Rock, it doesn't look like we sent out 250, 300 people. It does not look that way. And that just means that God sent us another few hundred people all of a sudden,
Yeah.
which is what happened,
Yeah.
which is really interesting and really exciting and
We're loving it.
sometimes a little scary. We love it. We really do. I just see new faces all the time. Every week lately, I'm just seeing a lot of new people that I've never met
I feel like I
before.
saw a bunch of new faces yesterday or this
yeah.
weekend. It was just it was
Yeah.
incredible. Just the number of people. Like every time I turned around, I was like, oh, new person, first time.
Yeah.
So really
You
good.
start wondering where they're coming from, how they hear about it, because we do almost no advertising, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? We did a little bit of Facebook push for the new campus, but that's pretty rare for us. We'll do a Christmas Eve and an Easter thing usually, but we don't do a lot of marketing, and really we're not pushing the name out there that much really, but people are just hearing about it.
People are inviting their friends, inviting their neighbors to come and see, to come and check out what's going on. So
I think when you do good things too out in the community, people hear about it and they
Sure.
want to find out what's going on.
Sure.
I heard just, I didn't realize somebody came yesterday and said, thank you for the donuts you guys sent to North Henderson.
Yeah.
And I had no idea, you know, horrible with this
Absolutely.
young lady that passed away at North Henderson. God,
yeah, a week ago. Yeah.
it's been a week now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And oh goodness, just praying for the Hen family and unimaginable loss and tragedy for this young girl to pass, you know, and just praying for them. But I think somebody told me that we sent donuts over there. I
Yeah.
didn't know, and the guy said there was a donut for everybody in the building.
There was Pastor
yeah.
John and several of our student ministry volunteers were over there Friday
Ain't that awesome?
doing that and getting a chance to just kind of show up and say, hey, we're here, we love you, we're praying for you. That's
Yeah.
that's the message there.
Yeah, yeah. Church getting out in the streets will just compel people to come check out and see what God's doing. And God's doing so much in our community through so many churches, not
Absolutely.
just Upward. I know a lot of pastors, and a lot of our churches are seeing growth and seeing people come to Christ, and it's just a great time to be a Christian. It always is, but this is just an exciting time, you know.
Agreed.
See what God's doing. Good weekend here, though. We talked about the woman at the well again, being
Yep.
one more week of her. And, I mean, you could preach about that story for 6 months. But the first week we called it unlikely story of a unlikely place and an unlikely woman. The second week we called it uncovered, as Jesus uncovered her sin
Right.
and then uncovered his identity as the Messiah. And then today, or this weekend, we talked about unleashed, how she was unleashed to a higher purpose than she'd ever known and a greater passion than she'd ever experienced. So had fun.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
No,
a
it
lot
was.
of hands went up saying yes to Christ too. How many were there? Do you know?
I think that there were either somewhere between 10 and 12. Is what I think I
That was
saw
just
on there.
great.
So,
That started Thursday night. You know, normally Thursday night tends to be a lot of Christians. So on the average, we don't see a ton of hands on Thursday night, but we saw them going up Thursday, and I thought, yeah, it's going to be a big weekend.
I loved the idea of the connection that you made about wherever, your profession and your calling and using where you're at as the platform to unleash you into your calling. I thought that was tremendous. I think a lot of people, struggle with the idea of wanting to do ministry and then being caught up with where they work at and trying to balance that out. I thought you did an incredible job connecting those dots.
Young lady, we had a mission team here last week. They they spent the night at the church, and cots and everything, and they were here. I think they went out to Batcave, and they were doing construction and repair work still for the hurricane relief out there in Batcave. And they came Thursday night, and one of the young ladies came up, and she said, thank you for that service. And she said, I think she does therapy for kids, some type of therapy for children. I don't remember if it's physical or speech or what, but she's a kids therapist. And she said, all this week I've been out here doing mission work and ministry, and I've just loved it so much that I'm thinking about how I can get involved in ministry because I want to do this with my life. And she said, tonight I realized my job is a ministry.
That's exactly right.
What I do is ministry. She said, I don't want to go home and quit my job. She said, this message I heard it in a way that I'd never heard it before, and it helped me realize that I am a minister where I'm at.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And it's so true.
You talked about like you're a missionary disguised as a plumber or a missionary disguised as a teacher.
Right.
As opposed to a lot of people get so caught up into dividing their lives into different sections. Like they say, this is my work self, this is my at-home self, and then this is my church self. And oftentimes we categorize mission work or being like a person of faith into one spot in our lives, whereas God wants it all. So he wants to use you as much in your vocation as he does if you serve in the church.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's a key part of transforming our community. Our goal is to build his church, transform our community. We're not going to transform our community by getting everybody in Henderson County into the building at Upward Christian Fellowship. There's not room for them. We struggle for room all the time.
Yep.
Our job is to get out there in the marketplace and actually influence people there. And it doesn't mean stop working and pick up your Bible and preach when you're supposed to be selling or accounting or whatever you're doing. Simply means in your day-to-day rhythms at work and everything else, let Jesus be the Lord of your life and let him show through your life in all kinds of ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are people, if you are a cashier at a checkout, I notice this a lot. I might go in the grocery store and I just got a lot on my mind, and I do that often. I'll go just walk somewhere, and sometimes I go to the grocery store and it's like walk around and I'm thinking about all kind of things. And I remember one time just being there and the cashier just said simply, have a blessed day. And when someone says has a blessed day, I kind of think that's a Christian there because they're pointing to blessing. And I told them, thank you for that. I needed that right now. I just needed to hear. Yeah. That was like hearing from God to me. It's like God saying, I got you.
Do you ever, like when you're in like a public space like that, like a restaurant or something, do you ever look around at people and you're like, I bet that person's a Christian?
I do that.
I feel like I do that a lot.
Yeah.
Where I walk into places and you just see somebody's attitude and you're like, I bet that person's a believer. And, Christians sometimes get a bad rap and there are plenty of people that claim to be Christian that are doing the bad things, but that kind of stuff does leak out through. And it's never like because they say something, you might have a server at a restaurant and it's like they just go above and beyond in a certain way, and some of it I think is the Holy Spirit, but you can just see in their life like something sparks in you where you're like, I bet that person is this, and your non-believing friends or coworkers will sense that as well. They just won't know what it is, and when they want to know what it is, that's when the door is really open for you guys to have some really good conversations.
It's just about wherever you are, letting Jesus just be Jesus through you. I was at the gym this morning and earlier today, and this kid came up to me, and we just kind of got talking over the last few times, just saying hello. And he was just saying this morning about how it was early in the morning. He said how you start your day is just so important. You get up and you determine you're going to make a difference. And I'm like, this kid doesn't know me or what I do or anything. He said, the key is just walking in agape. He said that.
Oh.
And he doesn't look like your traditional church kid at
Right.
all. And I say kid, he might be 30 years old, but he doesn't look like a traditional youth group kid. But he's telling me about agape, God's agape love. And he doesn't know I'm a preacher and I preach on that subject. He's just... I don't know his faith. I'm going to get to know that as I get to know him. But I thought that kid, Jesus, just said something to me through that kid today, and he didn't know I'm a preacher.
Yep.
I tend to think I'm supposed to be the one doing something for him, but this
Right.
kid just ministered Jesus to me, whether he knew it or not. So it's like wherever you go, just let Jesus be Jesus in you.
You think about, people using their profession and allowing that to be a platform for Jesus to shine through. There is this thing, too, of God uniquely designing us and giving us talents and gifts and abilities to perform certain roles. I mean, we need people that, and it's cool to watch it, too, when you find somebody, whether it's in the hospitality industry. It's like, man, they are just flourishing in the gifts that God has given them, man. They've got a gift for hospitality. They know how to make people feel welcome and feel like they belong when they're serving in that role and working in that role, or when somebody is just, they're a great doctor. I know somebody may have mentioned they don't like going to doctors, and neither do I because they cut on me. But there is something about seeing a doctor walking in their spiritual gifting of being able to bring about healing into people's lives. I mean, that is a God-created moment right there.
We see it every day. Every weekend at Upward, we've got doctors here who are flourishing in a God-given calling. They're not just in a system. They're letting Jesus flow through them. I'll give you an example. When you have the heart of Jesus in your business, you're really going to care about people, and you're going to serve them well, which is going to build your business like crazy.
Yep.
I don't want this to turn into a rant, but
okay.
I have 2 experiences in department stores this week, right? 2 totally different experiences. I needed to buy an item of clothing.
We're going to list the names and the
names
of the people who did this.
Nope, won't do it. And I'm not mad about it, but I'll illustrate it. I needed to buy an article of clothing for my daughter's wedding, which is coming up really soon, and I finally got the last of that. We were in a store, and I won't mention the name of this one, but or either the other one, but in a store, and we were ready to check out, and we'd found stuff, and we were there. And there was a line of people at a cash register, getting ready to line up. And the guy's like, well, this register's closed. Go over there. And he kind of pointed. And he pointed to a place where there was 15 people lined up. And I just thought, I don't have time. And I was in a hurry. And I didn't have an attitude. I didn't say anything. I just told my wife, I said, just put it back. We'll find it somewhere else. It's because the guy there were tons of people everywhere. And I'm not down on department stores or anything else, but this is a customer talking, tons of people everywhere, and I'm thinking, you got 3 people right here in line ready to hand you money for this stuff. And it's like the guy just didn't care.
Right.
So I just didn't have time. I didn't throw the box down and walk out in a huff. I don't do that kind of thing. So went to another place yesterday because I still needed to find it. And walked in the store, and people like, how can I help you? What you looking for? Walked me around the store, showed me 3 options of what I could, led me to a fitting room where I could try it on, waited on me outside, and at the end told me what they thought about it, and was the most pleasant transaction in the world. And I thought, that's Jesus kind of service.
Right.
You know what I mean? And my wife and I just remarked at the contrast.
Sure.
I'm not mad at the first store.
Sure.
I'm not going to boycott it. I'm not mad at the kid who did that. I'm just thinking, what a contrast to me. And I'm inclined to make a longer drive to that second store, which was farther away.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to go there because I got service. And I just think in anybody in business of any kind or in service industry, you're an employee on the line, whatever you are, if you let Jesus into that, you're going to be so much better at what you do because you actually care about it.
Yeah.
You care about your employer.
Yep.
You care about the company going forward. It's not just a job where you collect a paycheck, but you care about things. You do it as unto the Lord and not to men.
Yeah. great example of that. We joke around about it all the time, but look what Chick-fil-A has done nationwide with their business model of that.
Yeah.
You know, like they make chicken sandwiches at the end of the day. And yet, if you look up their vision statement, it has nothing to do with food. Like it's like,
Really?
it's
Yeah.
all about pleasing people.
Yep.
And that's because their leader and founder was just an amazing person. But I mean, look at the reputation that they have in every community that they're in. It's
Yeah.
like, and by the way, how much extra business that gives them.
Yeah.
But the reason that they're like that, and that's a literal, like they are a Christian company, so that they really take that to heart, and they are serving fried chicken, you know, and
Sometimes grilled.
yeah, sometimes grilled if you're lame. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, look at the impacts that I can't think of like a local business that has had such a crazy impact everywhere they go. It seems like it's just positivity in the community, and they're a restaurant. So the people working at Chick-fil-A have nothing to do with like ministry, and yet they are some of probably the best ministers to every community that they're in.
We all, as Christians, have a mission and a calling to make Jesus known in our world.
Yep.
Through whatever gifts God has given us.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
whatever you got, whatever God gave you, you can make Jesus known through that. Giving the best service. If you're a mechanic that works on cars, do people right, care about them, care about their long-term success. And my goodness, I'll tell you, if you genuinely care about people, you treat them fairly and efficiently and stick to your word, I believe you'll have no end of business in this world, because there's tons out there who don't show up when they say they're going to, and you know, that kind of thing. I think the person who is integrity and genuinely cares is going to have plenty to do.
Well, it goes back, you mentioned this in the message this weekend about the young man that you had lunch with who's very successful, right? Doing really good, making money. And he kind of just looked around and it's like, man, I don't want my life to be just about making money. I want my life to make, there be a difference made because of the way that I live my life. I want to live my life for Jesus. He recognized that the way to actually make a difference is to live for Jesus and let everything work for him.
When money's the bottom line, you'll do all kinds of unhealthy things to get there. You really will. And you'll find out that money doesn't satisfy. It really doesn't. But when the mission of making Jesus known is the bottom line, money will follow that. I'm not preaching some crazy prosperity message. I'm just saying when you live for Jesus, he takes care of you, and he makes sure you have enough and makes sure you have enough to bless other people.
Well,
So this lady essentially found a higher purpose
Mm-hmm.
than just carrying water. She carried living water,
Yeah.
So what a story. What a story. Next week we'll launch into the title. The word is the title, Unstoppable. We're going to see how when you just invite people to come see Jesus, when they make a step towards him, he shows himself to them.
Yeah.
And that's where the power is. You know what I mean?
It's really good.
We invite them to see him, and he shows up.
Yep.
And really good things happen. So
Awesome. Looking
it's
forward
been
to
fun, guys. Thanks all of you who listen to the podcast regularly. I hear from you guys all the time, and I'm so thankful to be a part of your life and part of this time. We'll see you next week.